Number 5. A scientist says Earth's average annual temperature has increased by about 0.5 degrees Celsius over the last century. This warming is primarily the result of the buildup of minor gases in the atmosphere blocking the outward flow of heat from the planet. So here's a scientist talking about global warming, I guess. Minor gases, a buildup of minor gases in the atmosphere. What do those gases do? They block the outward flow of heat from the planet. So the gases are like a blanket over the planet. The planet is releasing heat, but now it gets trapped inside the gases, the gas blanket. And the scientist says that's why the warming, we've gotten warmer by 0.5 degree Celsius over the last century, primarily because of the buildup of minor gases. The question stem says, which one of the following, if true, would count as evidence against the scientist's explanation of Earth's warming? So what type of question do we think this is? Yeah, this is a weaken question. We know it's a weaken question and not a flaw question because it says if true in the question stem. So it's which one of these 5, if true, causes the most problems for the argument. I don't think I have a prediction here. Weaken questions have a pretty wide range of possible answers, and I can't think of off the top of my head an argument against this scientist. If I was going to really try, I would think like, well, you've made a cause and effect argument, right? You're saying, hey, there's this effect, which is 0.5 degree warmer, and I'm going to say, the scientist is saying, my purported cause is this blanket of gas. A good weakener for cause and effect arguments, 2 good weakeners for cause and effect arguments. The first one, reversal of cause and effect. Is it possible that the increase in temperature is actually causing the blanket of gases to be there? That might be ridiculous in real life. I don't know anything about, climate science. But if it were true that the buildup of temperature causes the gases, then that would seriously call into question the scientist's explanation that the gases are causing the temperature increase. Okay, so reversal of cause and effect is always a good thing to think about when somebody makes a cause and effect argument. The second thing I would be thinking about is an alternate cause, any other possible cause. And I would literally think for a second about Martians shooting the Earth with ray guns. And I know you think that's ridiculous, but it's a useful tool. If it's true that Martians are shooting the Earth with ray guns, and that's causing the Earth's temperature to increase, then that's an alternate explanation for why the Earth's temperature has increased. This is a weaken question. The question stem says, if true. Which one, if true, causes the argument the most problems? So you might think Martians with ray guns, that's ridiculous. Of course it's ridiculous, but if true, it would cause a lot of problems for the argument. So Martians with ray guns shooting the Earth would be a really good weakener here. So I thought about reversal of cause and effect for a second. I thought about an alternate cause for a second. Now I'm going to look at the answer choices. I've got an idea of, I don't think either of the things that I said are the answer, but they're the type of answer that I'm looking for. And I'm going to try to make those good, strong predictions before I go blundering into the answer choices. It's really important to remember that the answer choices are not your friend. The answer choices are the swamp. Okay, and before we go into the swamp, we're going to try to arm ourselves with a prediction. The prediction is like grabbing a stick or a stone or a sword or whatever before you go into the answer choices. So I've got a good idea now what I'm looking for. Hopefully I can avoid some of the traps in the answer choices a little more easily. A says, only some of the minor gases whose presence in the atmosphere allegedly resulted in the phenomenon described by the scientist were produced by industrial pollution. So what? I don't care where the gases came from. The argument is solely about the gases are causing the temperature increase. So whether the gases came from industrial pollution or people's cars or who cares, it doesn't change the argument. B, most of the warming occurred before 1940, while most of the buildup of minor gases in the atmosphere occurred after 1940. And that's not like either of my predictions, but that's a damn good weakener. If the buildup of gases happened after the temperature increase, it's actually like the reversal of cause and effect, right? I was saying, what if the temperature increase caused the gases? Well, B does say the temperature increase happened before the gases. And unless there's some time travel shit involved, I just don't see how, if the gases happened after the temperature increase, how could the gases be responsible for the temperature increase? So B's looking like a good weakener to me. C says, over the last century, Earth received slightly more solar radiation in certain years than it did in others. So? D says, volcanic dust and other particles in the atmosphere reflect much of the sun's radiation back into space before it can reach the Earth's surface. So? E says, the accumulation of minor gases in the atmosphere has been greater over the last century than at any other time in Earth's history. So, that's nice. I don't see what it has to do with the purported relationship between the buildup of gases and the effect of the temperature going up. Does that make sense? So the answer for number 5 is going to be B.